頻繁に出動している。
絶縁ダーはもう滅びたというのに、何と戦っているのでありますか？
それはわからないけど、誰が呼んだのかは明らかね。先輩、きっとどこかで生きてるんですよ。
教えてくれ、キズナビースト。トーゴは今。
Red Ranger Isekai, that's all she wrote. That was all of episodes that we're gonna get. That was episode number 12. That is the finale. And I am oddly really satisfied with the ending. But before I really talk about the episode, what I want to say is we are in desperate, dire need. And I did a quick Google search before this just to validate nothing had been announced yet. But we definitely needed Square Enix to come out and announce a season 2. We need a season 2 ASAP. I'm talking next 3 to 6 months. I really think this show is deserving of a season 2, and it left. It didn't just left a little peak. It didn't just left a little crack. It left the door wide open for a season 2. But in case we never get it, I think I'm oddly satisfied with the end, because here's the thing: is it did a really good job of explaining the Black Ranger. We find out that essentially the professor in the past world created this other bond form, other band-aid form, other bond form that really manifests the negative emotions within bonds and the feelings of all of the anxiety, loss, sadness, anger, all those things feed into it. So this is definitely, like, as it was pitched, a last ditch, like, don't use it unless you, like, you know, you're about to die kind of thing. Like, this is the deal here, right? Otherwise, the Kizuna 5, the Kizuna 6, whatever, should be able to overcome anything that is needed from them. So this is like a last-ditch effort. So we find out why it was created. Then we find out Togo's really sad backstory, which is there was once much like the other Ranger stories where you have the introduction of a Green Ranger or a Silver Ranger or Black Ranger or White Ranger, you know, something that's not a color of the traditional Ranger force, whatever, you know, typical nuance that is, the Gold Ranger, whatever it is, right? Like, and this one, they created the Silver Ranger, and the Silver Ranger had telepathic, futuristic, future sight ability, and she had predicted that she was going to be a solo ranger because she predicted that, you know, through a vision that if she joined the Kizuna 5 officially, that she would end up dying. Well, we find out that Togo ended up falling in love with her, which is a really important piece because I think that love went both ways. Now, they didn't explicitly say it. They didn't really go down there. They didn't give us a full breadth of the story of how their relationship ended up being. But it was definitely implied, at least the way I took it, that maybe there was some kind of romance starting, romance budding. I don't know how far it got, if anything, but there was definitely some back and forth romantic feelings to where the Silver Ranger ended up actually joining the Kizuna 5, you know, in some traditional sense, and it did end up leading to her death. But she shared that part of her other vision was that she would save Togo because of her death, and she wanted to change it to where she could continue living with Togo and still be alive and save him, right? She wanted her cake, and she wanted the cake and wanted to eat it too, kind of thing, which is totally fine. And that kind of hinted to me that the feelings that he felt towards her were felt back towards him, which I thought was a really cool thing. So he basically summoned all those negative emotions about losing his parents, which we got a full breadth of that backstory once again before, you know, his dad's best friend, you know, he's the GOAT, took Togo, and we got to see, you know, his parents die in a car accident. His family was like, wish he died too. Very shitty people, right? Like, kids, although they are a lot of responsibility, they're not the most expensive thing in the world. You know what I mean? Like, people, you know, babies, yes. You know, babies, 100%. They require your 1000% attention because, you know, they can't do anything for themselves. You know, they require certain foods and milks and diapers, they are expensive. But children, though, you know, once they're able to feed themselves, fend for themselves, like, you know, clothe themselves, sure, you have to provide, but they're not like the family is just being very shitty. Okay, so kids aren't that much of a responsibility, and if you have somebody who's close to you like that, it's like, you know, what a shit family. So again, the dad, best friend, you know, top dog. So glad for him that he took him in. He ended up in the right spot where he should be. God found him the right spot. So I love that part of the story, giving that more breadth of a backstory there too. But I love how we just got a really, really strong backstory of why he was the way he was. And then we found out, like at the end of the episode, we found out all the questions I wanted to be answered, which was, as Togo's been in this other world, kind of, doing his thing and summoning the Kizuna beast and doing all this stuff. It was like, okay, are they just two separate worlds? Is he just able to summon the same things? Well, no, come to find out that actually the Kizuna beasts that are in, the center and stuff are actually like the other rangers are seeing them get summoned. So like, Togo is alive. Like he is alive somewhere. And then we get to see, I think it's the brother that was he turned to evil, but then he brought him back. I think he's now the White Ranger, which I think is just effing cool. Because he's like, Togo, where are you? So what it shows us is the other Rangers know that he's still alive somewhere because somebody's summoning the beast, and it can only be Togo because he's a missing piece. Silver's dead, R.I.P. So they're like, okay, who's summoning him? He's alive somewhere. We need to find him. So now this gives us a door open, and obviously they show the Demon Queen stuff too, but this leaves a door open for, as the Kizuna 5 are trying to go and find Togo, it creates a bond link, I believe, once again. So I think that whatever season 2 or whatever it happens, whatever it cooks up, I think it's going to be really interesting and fun. So overall, I think this was an 8 out of 10 episode. I was really satisfied with the ending. I was really satisfied with closing the gap on some of the things that I really wanted to know about. And I love that it put a nice bow on the Black Ranger stuff and gave us a legitimate reason of his sorrow and pain and hurt, and the fact that he did feel love before 𝐒𝐻𝐴, which I think is really cool too. So yeah, I think this was awesome. I really enjoyed it. I think this Red Ranger Isekai was one of the gems of the season. It was so good. It did have its lower moments. I'm not gonna say it was just like an incredible ride, but it was a really good show and a gem of the season. And I think if you're watching it in a batch, like you're binge watching it all at once, I think that you would feel like really, really good about spending your time, 2-3 hours on this show. So yeah, I appreciate you guys being here with me all season long. Make sure you guys check out the 10 anime I'm watching this season. I have that video out right now. And check out other anime this spring that I'm covering today, like the beginning after the end and the Unaware Atelier Master, which you should see on my channel already. So I appreciate you guys. All right, one love. Have a good day, weekend, night, morning, all that stuff. I'll see you next time. Peace.